Our last artist for today, and one of my favorites, is Rachel Roish. Ms. Cortez, you have so many favorites. I know, but like Rachel Roish is really awesome. I apologize for the formatting here. It's a flower still life. Okay. What are we looking at here? Okay, it's a flower still life, but this is by Rachel Roish, who is brilliant. Her attention to light and shadow and composition and texture and botany and anatomy, she's mind-blowing. She studied botany as a child. Botany is the study of plant life, and just look at these things. Uh, she was extremely successful. Let me just tell you about her, and then we'll look at this specific still life in more detail. But I want to show you some other, we'll talk about this vocabulary word too. Here. Let me move out of the way. Look at this. Rachel Roish was one of a number of successful women artists in the Netherlands, like Judith Leister. She had a career that spanned over 70 years, and she earned more from her paintings than Rembrandt. Did you hear me? I said that she was alive at the same time, and people were paying her more money for her artworks than for Rembrandt's. Yeah, I told you, she's a badass. Now, she started at the age of 15 as an apprentice to a prominent flower painter. She continued to study botany and anatomy, and she started a career. She also, in that time, also got married and had 10 children. And with her marriage and 10 children, she continued to paint for 70 years. That's what I'm telling you. This lady is amazing. She's extremely talented, and she managed to have 10 kids and a career at this time. So she was praised for her attention to detail and her sensitivity to composition in all of her works. And you can see these fantastic vases just exploding with color. When we look at these, you might just think, boring, but think about color, think about texture, think about light. If you don't care about any of that, look at the details. She includes elements like caterpillars, look at that, moths, dragonflies, snails. When I saw this detail for the first time, I almost passed out. Look at this glass vase. I told you 100 times, artists show off with clear water and clear glass, right? That is insane. She gives us clear glass, clear water, and she shows how light refracts through water. And you see a reflection of her window in the glass. Oh, Rachel, you're blowing my mind. Let's go up to the one that we'll be focusing on, because this is the one that's in your textbook. Here it is. So, flower still life. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first started to study art history, I thought still lives were uber boring. I was like, yeah, stuff. Still lives, I will tell you, are extremely complicated. If you haven't taken a drawing class or a painting class, you don't know how complicated they can be until you have to sit down and actually start one. The idea behind still lives are that they are studies in attention to light, attention to line, attention to color and texture and form and depth. And the more complex the still life and the more realistic you can make your still life, well, the more impressive it is. With flower still lives, you can appreciate these things on multiple levels. First, think about on a very shallow level, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean a cursory level. You can just simply enjoy it for the beauty of the flowers. Oh, this is a pretty painting. Okay, cool. What skill of the artist? Yes. Another way of appreciating this is to notice the arrangement of the flowers. Notice how the composition includes flowers that are tumbling down, that are densely packed in, that are spreading out. You can get even more into it by noticing the types of flowers. If you're a flower nerd, I'm not saying that in a disparaging way, I'm meaning like if you really know your flowers, you will be able to identify these flowers. If you're really into flowers, you know when they blossom, how they grow, when they grow. And when you understand that level of flowers and you look at a Rachel Roish, she blows your mind even more because many of the flowers in this composition bloom at different times of the year. Some flowers only bloom in early spring or late spring. Some flowers bloom only in summer, some late summer or fall. In Rachel Roish's compositions, she will combine flowers that bloom at different times of the year into one vase, which is impossible. Now, if you're thinking, so this was just like for a narrow group of people who really like flowers, no. Flowers were a main export in the Netherlands at this time. Flower bulbs were worth more than gold. People were hardcore into trading of flowers and knowing flowers. So they would very quickly understand the significance of these things. And they would look at this painting and they'd be like, "Excuse me? You got your summer blooms mixed with these winter blossoms and these buds of spring? Girl, you're blowing my mind. This is not humanly possible." Also, she shows them in various states of bloom. Some, you can see that they're just about to bloom, right? They're still buds. Others are starting to open. Others have opened and they're starting to wilt. And then look here. Come here. Look. Some of them are dried up. Some of them are eaten. Some of them are dying. And we have critters like bumblebees that pollinate, or bees or bugs that eat like caterpillars, right? So we're seeing life cycles of these flowers in various states of life, from bud to blossom to bloom to wilting. We're supposed to look at these things and on a deeper level, think about these as they relate to a cycle of life, or a vocabulary word, a vanitas. A vanitas. Vanitas, it comes from the Latin for, another word, vanity. Vanitas, when objects symbolize the transience of life, emphasis on the temporary state of life. So when we look at this, we're supposed to contemplate this cycle of life, from bud to death, and those creatures that also live in and with these flowers. And to see them in various states mixed with winter blossoms, spring blossoms, summer blossoms, it's almost like transporting of time into one vase, one bottle, and then watching them all play out their cycles of life. It's like a mind trip. And then she does it so well. The detail. Gorgeous, right? Her compositions. Look at that diagonal line. And this hot red falls through this densely packed, and then we have that falling blossom on the table. So it pulls us through the composition, maybe like an oval. It's very alive, and then you're supposed to be lost in those details. Find the snails, find the bees, find the caterpillars. They're mesmerizing, aren't they? I'm telling you, Rachel Roish, brilliant. She's also, if you're interested in scholarship of women, she is somebody that does not have enough, especially in English translations of scholarship. So if you want to go on for a degree in history, women's studies, art history, she's an untapped resource. Okay, I'm done. I'm done for the day. I'm done talking to you about how awesome Rachel Roish is.